So why did Ferrari put Leclerc on the hard tires? This Sunday we witnessed yet another instance of strategy mistakes Ferrari made with a car and a driver that are both able to win a championship. As we can see in the pit stop overview from Pirelli, Leclerc was the only top driver with a chance of winning the Hungarian Grand Prix who was put on the hards by his team, but only for a short period of time. That was basically until they realized how wrong they were to do so. But back to the start of the race. As you can see, the top drivers came into the pits at around lap 19. You could argue that Sainz was called in a bit too early with just 17 laps on the medium tire. However, Ferrari's call with Leclerc in lap 21 was okay, and compared to Lewis, who came to the pits in lap 19, it was reasonable. So far, so good. However, if we take a closer look at the second stint of the medium starters, we can immediately see what went wrong with Leclerc's strategy. He came in way too early in lap 39 with just an 18-lap medium stint compared to Lewis, who had a 32-lap medium stint. Sainz had a 30-lap medium stint, and even Verstappen's third and last stint on the medium compound took 32 laps of tire life. Looking at when Leclerc was called in, you can see that it was directly one lap after Verstappen's pit stop in lap 39. So Ferrari reacted to the undercut of Verstappen. And with 31 laps to go, the only reasonable choice that was left was the hard tire. But why even cover Verstappen's undercut? Why not just follow your own race like Mercedes did with Hamilton, who was called to the pits in lap 51? This is where a bit of kitchen sink psychology comes into play. My theory, they don't have confidence anymore in their strategy calls. Therefore, we have to go back a week to the French Grand Prix as an example. Ferrari was in a similar situation there. Verstappen went for the undercut, and Ferrari didn't react immediately to it. After the crash of Leclerc, Ferrari was criticized that they didn't cover Verstappen's undercut immediately, maybe preventing Leclerc's crash that way. Going forward to the Hungarian Grand Prix again, that is the reason why I think they decided to throw all logical reasoning overboard, although they noticed what happened to Haas and Alpine, as Binotto confirmed in interviews. They saw the undercut from their direct rival on track, and they felt the need to react to it because they were criticized not having done so a week prior. The justifiable criticism over most of the races in this season ate away at their confidence, and self-doubts started swelling underneath, culminating in this absolutely horrendous blunder. I don't have any other explanation for why else they put Leclerc on hards, despite knowing what was going on with Haas and Alpine, despite the cold weather conditions, which made it more than obvious that it was a wrong choice, and despite Leclerc even telling them over the team radio that he wanted to stay as long as possible on the mediums. They should have followed their race, extending the second stint to lap 54, similar to Hamilton, which would have meant a 33-lap medium stint. Looking at the other longer medium stints, as I said earlier, that isn't far-fetched. Hamilton's second medium stint lasted 32 laps, as well as Verstappen's last medium stint. Russell's final medium stint lasted 31 laps, and Sainz's second medium stint also lasted 30 laps. Then they could have called Leclerc into the pits in lap 54 and put him on the softs, sparing him from the 20-second time loss of the extra pit stop and sparing him from the 15-lap struggle on the hards. With Verstappen winning 16 seconds ahead of Leclerc and most likely just managing his tires, I argue that Leclerc would have been able to at least secure a P2 that way. We as viewers maybe would have witnessed some final laps with Verstappen and Leclerc battling it out at the front, and Hamilton maybe being able to catch the fighting duo that way and join in on the fun. So why did Ferrari put Leclerc on the hards? Short answer, self-doubts that led them to the thought of needing to cover Verstappen's undercut because of all the justifiable criticism after the last races. At least that's what I think. Or another theory, maybe because the Ferrari strategists are secretly Verstappen fans.